Hey everybody. Okay, we're going to talk about Bob Dylan's 27th album, and that is Under the Red Sky. The album came out, I believe, September the 10th. Yeah, September the 10th of 1990. And yet, this is the beginning of Bob Dylan in the 90s, and I don't know if I wouldn't say him starting in the 90s, you know, was a bad start for him, but yeah, he was going through a little bit of some tough things. I believe he filed divorce with his second wife, Carolyn Dennis, and it was kind of private. It was kind of in secret or whatever. And well, Bob Dylan, I believe it was early 1990. He started actually constructing some of these songs and whatever, and it was mostly dedicated to his second daughter. That was, Gabby Goo Goo, or Gabriella, I think what her name was. Or her first name was Desiree. And he got together with the Was Brothers. Now, the Was Brothers, as you may know, was famous with Don Was and his brother David. And he went over to the Record Plant Studios. I think it was in, I don't remember where, I don't know where that is necessarily. Yeah, anyways, in the book here, it says that the recording and production began in the early part of 1990 in Ocean Way Recording Studios in Hollywood, which of course Michael Jackson's Thriller was recorded in. Beach Boys recorded in that studio. Also Record Plant, like I said already, in New York. Yeah, so this album. This coming September, which is crazy to think that this album will be turning 35 years old already at this point in September, and kind of a good way here to segue into the Bob Dylan album reviews I'm doing. Perfect way to kind of start off here, since this is kind of really my first video of the year and Bob Dylan album of the year review, Bob Dylan album review starting the year. Yeah, so. And also, this album definitely has a lot of session players. It definitely kind of has a little bit of like the down in the groove kind of. Yeah, so there's a lot of people like Slash and George Harrison, Elton John that are on these albums. The way this album kind of segued in, he was kind of closing out the never-ending tour thing that he had. Also, he was still with, of course, the Traveling Wilburys at this time, and yeah, he was quite busy. But yeah, this album is kind of a bit fairy tale-ish, kind of a little bit childish, a little bit in the songs. But the songs and the dark meaning of the song, definitely has a bit more of the weary stuff that was happening at the time, current events, kind of, if you will, and a lot of biblical, referencing and taking stuff from the verses from the Bible and stuff, which of course Dylan has been doing since going way back to John Wesley Harding. Now, I wouldn't really necessarily say that this is on level of Wesley Harding, because I kind of feel like that album is. I just feel like that album is just, to me, however, I feel like that album is a little bit more understandable compared to this album. And I mean, it's not to say these songs are just. They feel like they're just just as a jokes or whatever. These songs definitely have pretty powerful messages. Definitely powerful meanings throughout, but I just don't think the album isn't really as comparable to John Wesley Harding, So anyways, I mean, that's how I feel about both of those albums, I definitely do think John Wesley Harding is a bit of a better album than Under the Red Sky. Yeah, it still has a little bit of that, in 1990, it was in 1990, I mean, the beginning of the decade, of course, was definitely it was still kind of the 80s, still sounding 80s. And definitely by 1991, it's definitely definitely a change with grunge and, the hip hop and stuff, Anyways, I don't want to go too, farther. Kind of want to kind of get through this. Yeah, it even says here that Bob Dylan, the first time in any album that he had ever recorded, he plays accordion, which I didn't know about. So, as you may know, the critics had really bashed this album, and it's still kind of bashed still as of now. This album did reach at number 4 in Norway, so he was still kind of big over in, in Europe or whatever, in other countries. He was still pretty popular, but down here, yeah, he was pretty. People were kind of, struggling on him a bit, But so let's go ahead and talk about the first song here, "Wiggle Wiggle." I do like the upbeat nature of it, and it just has a little bit of that ZZ Top-ish sound, a little bit of a boogie woogie sound, even a Stones kind of late 80s kind of Stones. As you made it, yeah, and of course the Wiggle Wiggle stuff. Of course, it's a little bit like a childlike song, But yeah, I don't know. This song is a little bit. If I even have to really compare to some opening tracks, this kind of outbeatens that song from that opening song from Knocked Out Loaded or whatever. You Want to Ramble. Yeah, this, but once again, this still has that 80s drums still a little bit. So we got Slash here on guitar, which is kind of cool. I do like his guitar work here. Randy Jackson, of course, back again, bass. And of course, Jack Frost producing, or I think he was like, I think he was, I guess he co-produced with the Was Brothers, I believe. Yeah, so, I mean, it says here that Wiggle Wiggle could be a metaphor for the dissecence of modern times, the unconsciousness dance of men at the edge of the cliff, or it might be a simple, funny children's rhyme, which, yeah, it says, however, with Dylan, it is hard to tell. Wiggle Wiggle is a lot of fun, but wiggle till you vomit fire suggests that it is not meant for children. Yeah. Yeah, as you read the lyrics, they seem a little bit, a little bit nursery rhymish, The first line here, wiggle, wiggle like a gypsy queen. Wiggle, wiggle all dressed in green. Wiggle, wiggle till the moon is blue. Wiggle till the moon sees you. Wiggle to your high, wiggle to your higher, wiggle till you vomit fire, like I mentioned there. Wiggle till it whispers, wiggle till it hums, wiggle till it answers, wiggle till it comes. Wiggle like a big fat snake. Yeah, So once again, it's a bit silly. And Kenny Arnoff on drums. So there you go, that's the first track. Which I don't think it's not as bad. I mean, it's not as bad as what people say, but, whatever. And then we get the next song here. It's a 4-minute song here, Under the Red Sky. I do like a little bit of the nostalgic sound. It has a little bit of that Blonde on Blonde, a little bit, like Stuck Inside a Mobile. It even sounds a little bit like that Paul Davis song from the early 80s. I think it was called like Cool Night's Gonna Be a Cool Night. It sounds a little bit like that, sort of. So Bob Dylan, for the first time on any album, he plays accordion here. George Harrison on slide guitar, Waddy Wachtel, Al Kooper, Deafy Tell, with the keys or whatever, Al Cooper's there. Don Was on bass this time. I've heard some few things about this song in general. I believe it takes verses from some of the Bible or whatever, and some say it could be about the Holocaust or something, or an apocalyptic, carnage or whatever, But yeah, once again, it has a little bit of the nursery stuff in there, Like there was a little boy, and there was a little girl, and they lived in an alley under the red sky. So, I'm pretty sure its meaning is something really, really bad is going to happen, They lived in an alley under the red sky. There was an old man, and he lived in the moon. One summer's day he came passing by. There was an old man, and he lived in the moon. And one day he came passing by. And, moon could definitely be something, it could be that a warning or some sort of really big disaster is going to happen, And even here, let the wind blow low, let the wind blow high. One day the little boy and the little girl were both ass baked in a pie. Let the wind blow low, let the wind blow high. One day the little boy and the little girl were both baked in a pie. In this last verse, let the bird sing, let the bird fly. One day the man in the moon went home and the river went dry. Let the bird sing, let the bird fly. The man in the moon went home and the river went dry. So, definitely something quite not right is going to happen, But yeah, it's pretty cool though with George Harrison in there. I do hear that. And then we get the next song here, Unbelievable. I do like this drive heavy bluesy. It really has all this blues roots in this song. With Waddy Wachtel, Al Cooper on organ, Don Was on bass. It was recorded in L.A. in May of 1990. Yeah, it says, even says here, the guitar riff in the introduction bears a slight resemblance to Honey Don't by Carl Perkins. And Dylan delivers a fine vocal performance, maybe lacking energy in his bluesy harmonica solo. This song is actually not too bad. I mean, the drums, I don't know. The drums still sound like it's definitely pretty 80s, and it's basically about the music biz, what you're expected, what your position is while you're, kind of in the music biz, I guess, This whole thing, I might as well read it all. It's unbelievable, it's strange but true, it's unconceivable, it could happen to you. You go north and you go south just like bait in the fish's mouth. You must be living in the shadow of some kind of evil star. It's unbelievable it would get this far. It's undeniable what they've have you to think. It's undescribable. It can drive you to drink. They said it was the land of milk and honey. Now they say it's the land of money. I love that line. Whoever thought they could ever make that stick? It's unbelievable you can get this rich this quick. Every head is so dignified. Every moon is sanctified. Love that line too. Every urge is so satisfied as long as you're with me. All the silver, all the gold, all the sweethearts you can hold. Ain't that the truth when you're in a band or whatever, you get wrapped up in, relationships and stuff. They don't come back with stories untold or hanging on a tree. It's unbelievable, like a lead balloon. It's so impossible to even learn the tune. Kill that beast and kill that swine. Scale that wall and smoke that vine. Feed that horse and saddle up the drum. It's unbelievable the day would finally come. I'll probably maybe read the last verse here. So, it's unbelievable, it's fancy, free, so interchangeable, so delightful to see. Turn your back, wash your hands. There's always someone who understands. It don't matter no more what you got to say. It's unbelievable. Go down this way. Wow. Pretty intense stuff, Okay, then we get Born in Time, which is a nice ballad, kind of, cleanser or whatever. But yet again, it could be about, broken relationships and relationships going awry, So once again, Bob Dylan on accordion. David Crosby's here on harmonies. Robin Ford on guitar. Bruce Hornsby. Randy Jackson on bass. I kind of like this song. It's got a good message here. I like the piano work here done by Bruce Hornsby. I like some of the lines too, as in the lonely night, in the blinking stardust of a pale blue light, you're coming through to me in black and white when we were made of dreams. So he's talking about, the times where they first got together, they were first meeting each other one-on-one. They had something in common, You're blowing down the shaky street, you're hearing my heartbeat in the record-breaking heat where we were born in time. On the rising curve where the waves of nature will test every nerve, you won't get anything you don't deserve where we were born in time. And this last verse is really great. In the hills of mystery and the foggy web of destiny, you can have what's left of me where we were born in time. Wow. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, you may think it's like a childlike, but it's pretty, beneath under that, it's definitely a lot of dark stuff hidden under there. Okay, then we got talking, a TV talking song. This is once again another upbeat kind of rockabilly type song. Once again, Robin Ford on guitar, Bruce Hornsby on piano, Randy Jackson on bass. It's pretty. I feel like this song is a bit, has a bit of the simplistic meaning, a little bit behind it. Definitely, wherever you turn on the TV and there's always some sort of, blabbering or whatever, even, and it says here, one time in London, I'd gone out for a walk, past a place called Hyde Park where people talk about all kinds of different gods. They have their point of view. To anyone passing by, that's who they're talking to. There was someone on a platform talking to the folks about the TV god and all the pain that invokes. It's too bright a light, he said, for anybody's eyes. If you've never seen one, it's a blessing in disguise. I like this one, this verse too. It's all being designed, he said, to make you lose your mind, and when you go back to find there's nothing there to find. Every time you look at it, your situation's worse. If you feel it grabbing out for you, send for the nurse. And this one too. The TV crew was there to film it. They jumped right over me. Later on that evening, I watched it on TV. Yeah, pretty pretty brutal stuff there. That sounds pretty good. Then we get 10,000 Men. I like this song pretty well here. We do have Stevie Ray Vaughan on here. Now, before the album's release, which was a month prior or whatever, on August 27th of 1990, it was soon after the recording of 10,000 Men, Stevie Ray Vaughan was killed. He was in the helicopter or whatever. Yep, so we got him and his brother, Jimmy Vaughan. So pretty cool stuff, It says here the song 10,000 Men is based on the English children's nursery rhyme, The Grand Old Duke of York, about the fulfilled leadership of the legendary Prince Frederick Augustus, Earl of Ulster and Duke of York and Albany. He even said that Dylan took the idea as a springboard and improvised it. The 10,000 men of the Grand Old Duke of York became 10,000 women, all dressed in white. Okay, yeah, he just kind of talks about that. This is once again a nice, really good bluesy type rocker here. And once again, I do actually like the guitars here by Stevie Ray Vaughan, even though I'm not big on him. I'm not a fan of him. But yeah, it's pretty good stuff, The lines here is 10,000 men on a hill, 10,000 men on a hill. Some have gone down, some have gone killed. Once again, it's probably another apocalyptic, song or whatever. It says, 10,000 women all dressed in white, 10,000 women all dressed in white, standing at my window, wishing me good night. 10,000 women all sweep in my room, 10,000 women all sweep in my room, spill my buttermilk, sweeping up with a broom. Oh baby, thank you for my tea. Baby, thank you for my tea. It's so sweet of you to be nice to me. I kind of like it okay, I think I'm not really a big fan of it, but it's pretty okay. Then we get 2 by 2. I kind of like this song a bit. It has a little bit of an R&B, a little bit of a gospel feel, We do have Elton John here on keys, which is nice, and Randy Jackson on bass. I like the percussion work here, very nice as well, and David Crosby on on harmonies as well. Once again, definitely a nursery rhyme type song. It even says looks like a fair. It says here, at first glance, 2 by 2 looks like a fairly interminable children's nursery rhyme without any real meaning. Some see an interpretation of Genesis 6 and 7, which God commands Noah to make an ark for himself, his family, and living creatures of every kind, to take and store every kind of food that can be eaten. I guess I can see that. I like I like it pretty good. One by one they followed the sun, one by one till there were none. 2 by 2 to their lovers they flew, 2 by 2 into the foggy dew. 3 by 3 they danced on the sea, 4 by 4 they danced on the shore, 5 by 5 they tried to survive, 6 by 6 they're playing with tricks. And this last one here, 2 by 2 they stepped into the ark, 2 by 2 they stepped in the dark, 3 by 3 they're turning the key, 4 by 4 they turn in some more. 1 by 1 they follow the sun, 2 by 2 to another rendezvous. Yeah, pretty good stuff. Then we get this one, God Knows. Really like the open. I really like the false beginning there, and has like this really clean guitar here with God Knows. Played, of course, that opening was played by Stevie Ray Vaughan. Jimmy Vaughan again here. It says here that was supposed to be done for Oh Mercy. It says the theme of this song, a favorite of Dylan's, particularly in his Christian trilogy, is about God as an open and omniscient God, seeing what all of us do and knowing our secrets. What is interesting is the evolution of the rhetoric between the original version and the one under the red sky. I like here, God knows it's a struggle, God knows it's a crime, God knows there's going to be no more water, but fire next time. Ooh. God knows that when you see it, God knows you've got to weep, God knows the secrets of your heart, He'll tell them to you when you're asleep. And this very last line here, I love. Even if we've got to walk 1,000,000 miles by candlelight, God knows we can get all the way from here to there. And even if we got to walk 1,000,000 miles by candlelight. Pretty good stuff. Yep, so I mean, it's probably about, the internalness of, your belief of God, I guess, God knows that we are one, kind of, Let me get the next song. Well, these are the last two songs here. Is Handy Dandy. This has a little bit of that Cajun, islandy kind of, vibe or whatever. Once again, Jimmy Vaughan is only on this recording here. Al Cooper again. Don Was on bass. I like the drums too. I guess the drums are okay, I guess. Says here was inspired by Shakespeare. The song contains references to the conversation in King Lear, Act 4, Scene 6, Um, Handy Dandy. Yeah. I mean, I don't know a heck of a lot of the meaning of that song, but of this song in particular. But I, I mean, I'm not really a big fan of the islandy kind of feel of it, but I mean, it's okay for what it is. I like the verse. Handy Danny sitting with a girl named Nancy in a garden, feeling kind of lazy. He says, you want to get a gun? I'll give you one. She says, boy, you talking crazy, handy dandy, just like sugar and candy. Handy dandy, pour him another brandy. Okay, then we get the last song here, Cats in the Well. Now this song definitely has a bit of that 50s type, maybe early 60s. With Dylan on accordion here, Stevie Ray Vaughan, the Vaughan brothers here. David Lindley on a slide guitar. Jamie Mormbarak, I don't know who he is, on organ. We got saxophone here, so this definitely has, and even Dylan was inspired by the nursery rhyme here, Ding Dong Bell, which kind of got him the inspiration to do this song. I really love the which is kind of cool. It has a bit of the, I guess it's kind of like, beware for, just beware and be, because there's always, shady stuff happening, I believe it references, it says here, the cat's in the well, the horse is going bumpity bump. The cat's in the well and the horse is going bumpity bump. Back alley Sally is doing the American jump. Which I guess maybe references, something, malicious or whatever, And even these these two stanzas here. The cat's in the well and the servant is at the door. The drinks are ready and the dogs are going to war. Yeah, and it's maybe about war, maybe perhaps. The cat's in the well, the leaves are starting to fall. The cat's in the well, leaves are starting to fall. Good night, my love. May the Lord have mercy on us all. And that's what ends the song, which is good with all this drum cymbling and stuff, the cymbals and all that, And that's Cats in the Well. I really do like that song. And folks, that is it for Under the Red Sky. I do really think that this album, and I'm very torn on this album. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, and I don't think it's bad or anything. I feel like I'm kind of in the middle with the album, once again, it definitely has a bit of the, a little bit of the, this has a bit of the silliness, of course, but, I do like the, production all right, still has a little bit of that 80s still in there. And, I do like the darkness behind it, And, the album cover has been talked about a lot, about Dylan, standing in this, I don't know where it was. I think it was somewhere in California, I believe, or maybe Israel or something or whatever. And maybe that's what maybe one song is about, maybe perhaps. I believe 10,000 Men, or maybe 2 by 2 was about Israel or something like that. So yeah, kind of a weird period for Dylan, during this time, So the next albums I'll be doing, I'll be kind of collaborating these two, and kind of doing my 5 favorite from the the folk albums he did from 92 to 93. And then he took a hiatus, and then we didn't really get as much, well, of course we got the bootlegs, the first 3 volumes of, which is the year after the album or whatever, just several months or whatever, was the bootleg, the beginning of the bootleg series, of course, and and then those 2 folk cover albums. So yeah, folks, let me know about Under the Red Sky. It's kind of an okay album. I'm not really too big on it, and a lot of interpretations galore, when it comes to that album, I'm pretty sure, and with anything with Dylan, right? Okay, I think doing this pretty long here. 30 minutes gone by. Whew. Okay, folks, take care. Bye-bye.